Hey, this is Yazuki Wolf, and welcome to BenkyouKai. So, in our last video, we went over A, I, U, E, and O. And in this video, we're going to be moving along over to the K column, where we'll be studying Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, and Ko. For the time being, we're going to be focusing on the Hiragana, so I'm going to go ahead and cover up the Katakana for now. And let's go over those one at a time. K plus A becomes Ka. And then K plus E becomes Ki. And then K plus U becomes Ku. Now hold on one second, I should probably explain this kind of calligraphic feel of this key. So when you're writing Ki, generally the kind of calligraphic way that's written is you stroke this way, and then you come around and you stroke down there, and then you come down this way and it moves up, but like you kind of pull your brush back here and then push down again at the bottom. So a lot of times you'll see Ki written something like this, but don't be confused. It is the same. It is the same as this. It's just that the this area here is often very, when it's written with a brush, it often becomes very light, and sometimes is even like just completely lifted off the page, and so that's why you get this sort of like slightly different representation of it. It's something you'll get used to, but yeah, just keep that in mind that it's not always going to look exactly the same. There we go. Right, and then we have Ke and Ko. Alright, that's the basics there. Go ahead and practice that on your own time. You could do a screen cap of that if you'd like, and once you're ready to move on, we're going to learn some words. Alright, here we have our next word list, and once again I'm going to have the kanji written on the side. Don't worry about memorizing that right now. I just want it to kind of be in your subconscious that these are the kanji representations of these words. So first off, we have aka, aka, and this means red, just like the color of this brush. And then we have ki, and once again now you can see what I was talking about with the kind of different ways to write ki. We have this ki over here, which is fully connected, and then you have this key up here which has this empty space right there as the stroke is kind of lost. And ki by itself, this is probably a very easy kanji to remember if you did want to remember that one. This means tree, and you can see very much how that kind of looks like a tree, but we'll have a kanji series in the future, so let's not focus too much on that right now. Right, next we have ku, u, ki. And remember that these just combine, so it becomes ku-ki. It just makes it, the u sound is just elongated, so ku-ki. Alright, so ku-ki means air. Then we have ike, ike, which means lake. We have eki, which means train, and that's pronounced eki. And now this comes up a lot in Japan because, especially if you live in Tokyo, everywhere you go you're using trains, so eki is a word you're going to hear a lot, and it's so much so that even a lot of people that live here that come from English speaking countries, when they're speaking English, they'll often say eki instead of station, just because it's so much easier to just be like, hey, I'll meet you at Shinjuku eki, or I'll meet you at the eki, instead of saying like, oh, I'll meet you at the station or the Shinjuku station. It just becomes so like common that a lot of times people will say things like I'm in front of the eki, like meet me by the eki. Yep, so good one to remember. Then we have oka. Oka means hill. You'll hear this a lot when you're looking at the names of stations, actually, like or names of places even, like Shizuoka, or there's a whole lot more that I can't really think of right now, but you'll see that a lot in names of places and stations, because I think in the olden times, probably when places were named, you'd have things like the top of the hill, or the hill of the something or other, and then that in Japanese that turns into something oka, or oka shizuoka, or whatnot. So next we have igai. Oh, okay, so all right, this is a point that I have to explain now. All right, so you'll notice here that there's something different about this. Do you see what it is? So I've taught you, we went through E last week, and this week we just did ka, right? But what's this extra thing up here, right? So there are some words or some letters that you can change by just adding these types of like symbols. So in the K column, you also have G sounds. So let me try to explain that. So over here, this is the K column, but it's actually kind of the K and the G column. Because by itself, this is ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. But if we add what they call in Japanese a ten-ten, which is just these two lines in the upper right-hand corner like this, it turns into a G sound. So now we got ga, gi, gu, ge, and go, right? So it's pretty simple. Just remember, and if you know anything about linguistics, the difference between this is it's basically the same sound. It's just a voiced and unvoiced. So when we say voiced, it means that I believe it's like, it's here, ka, ga. Okay, if you like touch your throat when you say ka, ga, ka, like if you say ka, there isn't a lot of vibration in your throat. Where if you say ga, like you can kind of feel it vibrate a little bit more. It's a little bit stronger. It's the same root sound, but it's the difference in the way that you voice it. Other examples would be F and V. So F is not voiced, V is voiced. So that's why when you have, in English, you have things like wolf, and when you make that plural, it becomes wolves. It voices it, you know, it voices the F. So the F turns into a V. There's the same thing here. The F can turn into a V by adding a 10-10. See here, another example. Ka, gi, fa, vi. Another example would be S and Z. So Z is just basically a voiced S. So that's also in English. I think there's examples of that. I can't think of anything right now, but I'm sure there are, where it turns into like a Z sound when you pluralize it. So in Japanese, with a K, you can voice that and turn it into a G. With S, you can voice that and turn it into a Z. With T, if you voice that, it turns into a D. And I think that's all of them. Yeah, that should be it. Wait, why is there no H here? Oh, there's H. Yeah, sorry, H. If you voice that, that turns into a B. So ha, ba. And there's one other kind of thing which we'll probably we'll probably go over this again when we get to the actual H column. But H, it has the 10-10. So let me just write. That's going to be a little bit off topic. Okay, we'll wait until we actually get to the H column. But just let it be known for right now that H can be an H, a B, or there's also a way to turn it into a P sound. So that's why originally when I showed you this graph, these are not exactly all the possible sounds. There are other examples here where you could add a G, Z, D, B, P. It's just that in the way that they thought about it when they made the Japanese language, I'm assuming, is that these are the actual sounds, and it's just a matter if you're voicing it or not voicing it, which changes the way you make the sound. Whereas in English, we actually think of it as different letters. Here, it's not really a different letter. It's the same letter, just with a different way of pronouncing it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, if you have any questions, go ahead and put in the comments, or go ahead and join for one of my live streams and ask me directly, and I could go into more detail. Okay, where were we? So let's cover that up again and bring up our vocabulary list. So coming back here, now we have I, ga, I, because we have the 10-10, so that turns the ka into a ga sound. So igai, igai, which means unexpected. I mean, literally here, if you have the kanji, and we'll get to the kanji later, but I think it helps a lot for remembering words. This guy here is outside, and this I here is like thought or will or like ideas, I guess. So it's like an idea outside of what you were thinking. It becomes unexpected. So that's igai. Right, and then moving down below that, now we have iku, which means go, iku. This comes up a lot, although it is conjugated, and if you're not familiar with what that means, it just means that it's a verb, and the verb changes form depending on how you use it. So in this case, iku means go, but then if we go down here to iko, it means let's go. And just so you know, this is not the polite form of the word. This is the very root form that you would use maybe if you were with a close friend or something. It's the short form, I guess you would say. Whereas if you were wanting to be polite, you have to make it a little bit longer by like changing some things, which we'll go into in the future lessons. But anyways, good to remember those. And we have gu-a-i, so gu-ai, which means condition. You'll hear this in a lot of situations. Like it could be if someone's sick or like not well, you might say like guai wado, like how are you feeling? How is your condition? Right. Moving down below, we have koukai, so koukai, which means regret. Like I regret doing that thing that one day or something. Like その日やったことはちょっと後悔してますね. Like I kind of regret doing that one thing that one day. And if you don't understand the Japanese sentences I'm using, don't worry about it. I believe in immersing yourself into the language as much as possible, even if that means that you don't understand everything that's going on, because even if you're not understanding everything, you're putting that stuff you don't understand into your subconscious, and it's going to make it click better in the future. I'll talk about more of that in the future, but for now, let's just keep going. So then we have kiku, which means to ask, and that's another verb that conjugates depending on how you use it. Now we have go. Once again, remember that we have the 10-10 in the corner there, which makes the ko sound turn into a G. It's voiced now, so that's go. So we have go kai. Go kai. So that's go kai, which is a misunderstanding. Go kai shinaide kudasai. Don't misunderstand me. All right, so that is the sort of crash course for this week. Next week, what do we have next after kai? I think it's the S, so it should be the S column. So next week we'll be going through sa, shi, su, se, and so. Till next time, live boldly and be creative. Yoroshiku.